everybody up onto the couch, but I also am like kind of that's cool. That's very, very cool.
John, did you see that Clubhouse retweeted Remarcus?
Yes, I did. Oh, hey, dude.
Hey, Sean.
Let me make Sean moderator. One is muted.
Hello.
Hey there.
I was having some technical difficulties there for a second. Hi, everybody. Is the gang all here?
We're all here.
Yeah,
We all
everybody's here.
Hello.
We did our reservation system already. So if you look in your account on Remarcus, you'll probably see a considerable amount more kernels than you had earlier today.
That's good, man. I'm all about those kernels.
So
I know that's word on the street, man, is that the future of our world is going to be just everything paid in kernels. So
when post-apocalypse, when kernels are the only currency, I'm gonna be rolling in it.
Yeah, it's gonna be just like benzene and kernels are the only two things that like people are trading in.
What episode are we on? We're on season 7, episode 20.
Episode 20, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, so before we start, there's something that I wanted I wanted to mention again. I've mentioned this before, but I wanted to mention it while you were here. So we've at some point in this whole watch, I was eating ice cream with flaming hot Cheetos sprinkled on them.
Fair enough.
With a dark chocolate drizzle.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Well, you actually were the one who gave me that idea. So for a while, it had a lot of controversy because there were some people that were like, "That's disgusting," and then there was somebody who like actually did I dared them to do it and they did it and filmed it. It was kind of a big thing. Anyway, I just wanted to let everyone know, and I wanted you to verify it. I did not come up with that. You came up with that, and because I was just eating a bag of flaming hot Cheetos one day, and you said you need to put that over some ice cream.
Well, this all goes back to when I was a very young child, and this is in the days before flaming hot Cheetos. For you youngsters out there, I know that it seems like there was no world before flaming hot Cheetos, but it really did exist. There was a time when flaming hot Cheetos weren't around.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid and I ate and I just did this on my own. I went into the kitchen. I was about like 7 years old or something. And I got some orange sherbet and I put some chocolate syrup on it. And I was dipping Doritos into it and eating it with Doritos. And somebody like walked in and saw me doing it. Like one of my sister, I think, walked in and was like, "That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen." And I got endless amounts of grief for it, for what a strange little person that I was. However, if you go now into the future, like that whole idea of putting like salt and heat onto sweets for a dessert is something that many of the finest chefs and finest pastry chefs do. And yeah, flaming hot Cheetos on a little bit of like vanilla ice cream, maybe with a little chocolate sauce. Absolutely, 100%. I don't even think you need to justify it. It's
yeah, I definitely don't. I just wanted you to get the credit for it because
Well-
some folks did try. Some folks did try it. Like they were kind of like, I don't buy that. And then there were some people that tried it and were like, wow, that is actually pretty good. And I was like, well, I don't
you
want
don't
to
have to like it, but it's a, but it,
But it-
it,
yeah.
it
but it
makes
is
sense.
good though.
Yeah, salt and sweet is great. And so if you had vanilla ice cream with chocolate syrup on it, there's no salt in there. So you have a little salt from the Flamin' Hot Cheetos and a little heat. Dynamite.
I love it. We could also get into a lot more conversations about mixing chips with things. We could talk about Fritos and cottage cheese.
Still one of the finest snacks in the world.
Yeah, it really is. I mentioned to them that you and I used to just have late night Frito cottage cheese sessions where we would just chat and just dip Fritos
That's right.
in. That was a simpler time as well. That was before scoops. That was just back when you really had to be really good at like scooping up, on that real thin Frito.
Yeah, I know your Frito game had to be strong, but
Yeah.
the scoops have made all that so much easier. Kids today, they don't understand. They don't understand how difficult it used to be for us back in the day when
us
Fritos,
ancient people.
yeah, right, when Fritos weren't made into scoops and you had to manipulate the Frito into being a scoop. It was harder back then.
It made us stronger.
Someone just suggested it's your bond over weird food that's made you so strong.
Yeah.
We only had Lay's potato chips in our house.
Oh,
And
the greasiest.
I didn't exchange corn chips up until I was an adult. And I just absolutely love corn chips and cottage cheese.
yeah, there you go.
And that's what Kendra just said. Corn chips. She does Fritos with cottage.
I don't eat peanut butter and jelly
great-
without
great snack.
Doritos.
Do you put the Doritos on the sandwich?
I do, and they have to be nacho cheese, not Cool Ranch, not spicy. The
Yeah,
red
no,
bag.
I have to send my son
Yeah.
out of the house so I can try that.
It's the only way I'll
I'm-
eat it.
That's that's dynamite. I heartily approve.
Yeah, I have to get rid of the kid so I don't kill him with the peanuts, but I'll try it.
Oh, you got a nut allergy?
Oh, my son is allergic to everything under the sun.
That's a bummer.
That's a bummer. That's a huge bummer.
Yeah.
It happens. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I've been talking about how I'm so surprised that like Yannick, I assume that the Michelle character was much, much bigger. Like I love that character. I wish that there had been more of Michelle in the series.
He's great.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, if you've been here before, you know what we're doing next. If you're new, grab your remote, have your finger on the play button, but do not hit it. Do not hit it, because we're going to do that at the same time on the count of 3. And Sean, when I say 3, hit that play button, both on the app as well as on your remote on your TV. Ready?
Okay, but no, before you get there, I just want to give a quick shout out to Jessica, who has the greatest photo on her.
Oh,
it's from
dude, you know
from
what?
from Romeo and Juliet.
I know, it's funny. That was awesome. Because when she came up, it kind of half registered, but then when she was up, I was like, was that Romeo and Juliet? But then I had to keep bringing people up on the couch, and I didn't think about it. But that is awesome. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. So on 3, I'm going to press play on the app, and then also on my TV, so I can watch
ready?
the episode. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
1,
All right.
2, 3.
Did you miss Shelton?
Can you imagine the actor that plays Headmaster Charleston just getting this phone call like, we know Rory's about to graduate college, but we need you to come back for a season.
That's funny. You know, I don't know if you guys have talked about this, but I can verify from the last time I had dinner with Amy and Dan that Amy has never watched season 7.
Yeah, I do. I do know that. Yeah. I'm going to say I like season 7. I think there's a lot of great stuff in it.
Incredibly difficult task for the writers. They did a killer job of piecing it together.
The only 2 episodes that I have a problem with are the first 2 episodes. They're the ones that feel the most like not really, they don't really feel like the same rhythm.
Now, Lorelai just said she was going to Hawaii. It's always been a dream. That's where Warren was actually born.
Yes, that's
I was going
right.
to say, it's got to be
Good
a
call.
dream because. But when
That Hillary Clinton picture, so good.
there it is. I knew it was a dream.
You're quick,
A
man.
little bit more of a
Good
nightmare
job.
now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a nightmare.
I don't know. It seems so real.
That was one of the weirdest transitions into this into this opener.
It might be my least favorite of this series.
This
What was
episode
the
or just
deal-
that
what
opening?
was the deal?
Just the opening.
What was the deal there? What was the
Yeah, so last episode.
Rory was trying. Okay, go ahead, John.
Yeah, so in the last episode, Rory gets the letter that says she didn't get this fellowship that she's been really like, hoping to get. And Paris got like all these acceptance letters to all these grad schools, which is kind of a mirror from that episode in one of the previous seasons where Rory gets like all these acceptance letters and Paris doesn't get into Harvard. So there's some that it ended the episode on basically Rory finding out that the thing she had put all of her eggs, all the eggs in her in that basket is no more.
got it?
And it was a New York Times fellowship.
Right. Oh, hey, I'm in this episode.
I guess the titles aren't making sense anymore.
It's weird. I mean, there are some titles that I feel like I know them the moment I see them from residual checks, but like then there are some that are just like, maybe I need to call SAG or something.
Maybe because people aren't watching season 7 as much.
Oh, that's actually a good theory. That's a really good theory.
I see George Bell was on this episode. Did you see that?
George Bell played
George
Professor. George Bell played for Professor Bell, but a few episodes ago, George Bell also played like a police officer or something.
That's great. He's the greatest. He's our dialogue coach for many years.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good one.
There's a great piece on one of the DVD extras for season 7, him coaching Keiko and Todd through a scene. It's really cool.
Oh, cool. I might watch that before I send Beth her decrepit DVDs.
Yeah, you should find it. I'll find it for you, but it's really, really awesome. I remember thinking, oh, that's awesome. That's really amazing.
Really, John, you can sell them at FanFest. I don't own a DVD player. So I am touched that you would pass off your decrepit DVDs to me.
They'll probably make a nice coaster or something.
We're now open for the monkeys when I saw them in '80s.
Oh, I thought Saturday was karaoke night at Casey's.
Weird Al has one of the best reputations of any person in the entertainment industry. Sweet, sweet man.
Do you notice something, John?
No. We got
A new
Yes.
It's back.
It's
the
back.
snapback is back.
The
So much
blue
happened
hat.
this
Blue
season.
snap.
The blue hat
Blue.
she gave him.
He's entered the blue period.
Looks
Yeah,
so
he
much
was wearing
better.
for a while. He was wearing this black fitted cap backwards, and it just looked ridiculous. And that caused a huge debate within the community about whether or not you should be wearing fitted caps backwards. My feeling is you should not.
It looked weird over his ears.
Yeah, it was huge. And then the snapback one was too small.
Way too small.
And look at that snapback. That thing looks great on him.
Instead of paying for this, can I just give you some of my sage advice? I'd rather have the dollar. April says she's very excited. Very excited.
It's hard for me to separate the show at this point from the human beings that were making the show. So it's hard for me to watch this and not remember like that it's season 7 and all of the things that were going on, with who was, I don't want to bring people out of it, but like who was still invested and who was ready to leave and who wanted the show to end and who wanted to continue and so on and so forth.
But that's the good stuff we want to hear, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it is.
We want the dirt.
Exactly. We want all of
Yeah,
this.
we'll
Spill the
take some dirt
tea.
in the post show for sure. I'll say just desperate for it to be over. No, I'm kidding. I would, as the seasons progressed, Brian became fainter and fainter in the narrative.
If Brian wasn't selling so many cars, wasn't that what
No,
he
he
was
was
doing?
Century 21. See, that's a house.
If you wouldn't have sold so many houses, you could have been back with the band.
Is
You
that
had
what
to be the
Brian's
best.
doing at this point? Is he selling houses?
Yeah, he
Yes.
works for Century 21. I mean, that's true. He in the story, and that was something that Amy brought in season 6, I believe.
That's funny.
He was a receptionist. We don't know if he's actually selling.
Come on, give him a little bit more credit than that, Mary. He worked his way up. By season 7, he's selling houses.
I'll
And-
give it to you.
Yeah, I don't know.
As far as we know, he's still living with some relatives of the Kims, I guess.
We all assume he is.
Even with this weird competition aspect, I love seeing Paris just socializing with new and other people. We don't really see that much.
Yeah, she seems the most normal right now than we've seen her in a while.
Yeah, she's on her path.
It's hard to imagine how, with Rory so knocked off of her, just so kind of discombobulated, how in 2 episodes they're going to be able to resolve her arc in a way that is satisfying.
Well, one thing I can say is that I think pretty much all of the main cast members at this point thought that it was likely that we were going to do an additional half season after this.
It's such a wonderful opportunity that I was wondering.
Oh, that's right. I did hear that it wouldn't have been a full season. It would have been like 10 episodes.
13, yeah.
Or 13, yeah.
That we were going to do like maybe 10, but like maybe 10 or 13 more episodes for season 8, but we were not sure. But it seemed to be pointing in the direction that we were going to do that.
What would the reasoning be to do half of a season?
Well, basically, the principal actors would have to agree to it because nobody would have been under contract anymore after season 7, and so there were some people who were like, "We are definitely not doing a full season, but maybe we can be talked into doing a half season," and that looked like what was probably going to happen, and it did not, as you all.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when you get a television show at the very, very beginning, before you do even that first episode, you sign a contract that locks you into 7 years.
Oftentimes it's 6 years, and I think in the case of Gilmore Girls it was 6 years. But then when the show is successful, people renegotiate their contracts in seasons 2 or 3, and in exchange for larger contracts, they tack on a 7th year, which is what happened in our.
That's right. It is 6.
Clearly,
yeah,
it is 6.
But clearly,
but
that's
everybody
happened to me many times that I just happened to forget.
Well, yeah, no, they were locked in. The principal actors were locked into the 7th year, probably, I think, by season 3, I would guess. Don't go blogging about this. I don't know for sure, but that's my guess.
Oh, I know this episode. Is this the one where I'm changing the babies?
Daddy
I don't know.
Brian.
No spoilers.
If it is, I've got a good story for this episode.
There's some fun art on the wall behind them that I never noticed before.
Paper Rub. Good name for a band.
Oh, Honey Nut O's, my favorite.
That looks like, isn't that from Trader
It's
Joe's?
Trader Joe's, yeah.
That's a Trader Joe's brand. I want those pieces of art in the background.
The turtle and the bunny.
"9:30 Club, such a fun club."
Makes me sad it's not Hepalian though. Yeah,
Why do
too.
I feel like
Different
they
negotiating
actually drew
things.
it themselves? You do not wake sleeping babies.
I know.
Especially twins.
Just noticed she was driving the Dragonfly van. I never noticed that.
Well, because
I
the
was
Jeep is
literally
going to be
gonna
busy
say.
for 2 weeks.
And that's right. I just never noticed it.
Yeah, Gypsy's got it for 2 weeks to put that other engine. And as a Jeep owner, she paid more for a used Jeep than probably any one of those other cars that she was looking.
Okay, am I the only one who sort of feels like this is a pretty good example of how season 7 is just different? Like this scene just doesn't, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't, it's a square peg in a round hole. It
And
does
it's
not
just
feel like
going
a good-
on and on.
It just
Yeah,
does
this is
not feel
something
like a
that we've
Gilmore
talked
Girls
about. This
scene to me.
has been a problem in a few spots of this season where the writers don't know how to end a scene, or it just kind of goes on a little too long. Whereas like you just know that Amy and Dan would have ended the scene much quicker.
Yeah, they would have rewritten it. It would have been
There it is.
There it is.
they would have made it work. And it just,
These
I don't know, it
babies.
doesn't-
These
Oh, look at
babies
that guy.
were brand spanking new. These babies were like a week old.
Wait,
They
hold on,
both
I wanna-
still had.
I want to
They
watch
both-
the master at work.
They both still had their belly buttons like were bulgy and completely bloody. It was really, really creepy.
And you could keep them for a long time? I thought babies were
No,
like
15 minutes. 15 minutes. We shot this in 15 minutes.
Look at the progo.
And I'd never held a baby like that before, ever. And I was so freaked out because the director came up to me beforehand and was like, have you ever held a baby before? I was like, no, I don't think so. I mean, no, I don't think, no, I haven't. She's like, okay, because you got to be really careful. Their heads can, like if you're not careful and you don't hold that head, the head just can fall off. I was like, what? So I was freaking terrified. I mean, she may not have said that it would fall off, but she said something that to my memory sounds like she was saying, be careful, their head will break, like it'll fall to the side and just snap. And I was so terrified. The mother was there on set, right off
you didn't
camera.
kill one of those. This story doesn't end with you killing one of those babies.
No, I did not kill a baby.
But you got the rock down pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at the hand on the neck.
Yeah,
It's a good shirt, man. Do you still have that shirt?
Oh, I wish. There's so many costumes or wardrobe that Brian wore that I wish that I had. Watching the series, I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Why didn't I just take it?
Oh yeah, that's all you too.
But I was really fascinated by the idea that these two babies were really newborns. They had just been it wasn't even like a week, and the mother was there on set. I mean, they had to have been paid. They must have paid them a ton.
Newborns are the worst.
They're all just awful. They're
If you
so
want
useless.
teens, I
They're
can
such
give you a 17 and a 19-year-old. You can take that.
they're such prima donnas on set.
Useless. Think about that though, dude. Those two infants that you were handling in that
easily
scene
made
are
way more than I did. Easily made way more. Each one of them easily made double.
Well, what I was going to say is that they're 14 years old right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought you
yeah.
were saying. They're teenagers.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right.
And that
one of them might be without a head too, because
Oh my God, don't say
John
that.
killed the baby.
I meet one of them, their head is kind of tilted to the side. I'm like, oh my God, no.
He's wearing the hat. He's listening to her recommendations. Things are looking. And it's awkward.
That sounded convincing. You can just feel that Rory's just really losing
Floundering.
Yeah, she's losing her interest. It's I mean, it's not that, I guess it's not that she's losing her interest. She's just not feeling like she can be in the relationship anymore.
JP, have you chosen a side at this point? Are you Team Logan or Team Jess or Team
I would
Dean?
say that if I had to pick one of the three at this point, if I was forced, you got to pick one of the three, I would pick Logan at this point.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm on the record.
I would
I'm
probably
on the
pick.
record. I'm on the record as Team Logan. I have been for many years.
I think so. I mean, although Jess is not bad based on where he's at right now. Dean was. I thought Dean was really great in that first couple seasons. Maybe I was sort of holding on to it, but they ended his arc in a way that's kind of hard to be a Team Dean.
Also, let me revise that. I'm actually team go be single for a while. Like that's
that's where most of us are. I
my
would say
main point
that's
of view.
how I feel about it. But
I'm
if I
just
were to
saying,
pick
if you had
one
to
of the
choose
three
one
of them
as a partner, Logan's probably the best call.
Yeah, right now it feels like it. Yeah, for sure.
All the Team Jess fans are hurtling themselves off. They're committing.
No. I said that where Jess is now, like in that whole like publishing world and whatnot, is actually really cool. I like that Jess. So I don't know if I would go so far as to say I'm Team Jess, but I was into him. I thought that he was cool. Where he's landed is really cool. But for her, I think right now, if you had to pick one of the three, I'd probably just say for her right now, Logan.
Yeah, see, I'm Team Jess, but I'm not Team Rory and Jess.
Woohoo.
You're Team Jess for you, is what you're saying.
Heck yeah. I love wearing my Team Jess shirt because nobody understands that it's not about.
All right, everybody, be quiet. I'm performing. I'm just kidding.
Settle down, everyone.
Like that.
Prepare to watch a master at work.
That's right.
You got that head bob going.
I just made a joke about this in our Discord today about this.
This is cool. This is actually like what it was like working with Liz and Sally on a regular basis. They would just dive into songs like.
That's true. Even at FanFest, Liz will sometimes just bust into like something, some song. This was something that was actually kind of cool. I was mentioning that like when the writers started to make the Zach character way more featured, and it was no longer Zach and Brian. I remember when I was working on the show feeling very insecure about that and feeling like a little bummed and, like why wasn't I good enough to, be propped up in that way. But now watching the series, I just love that I've gotten to know the Zach character in this sort of singular fashion.
Yeah, well, once he's Lane's love interest, they've got to work him into the plot.
It's all right. Okay, I'm sorry. I get it.
Also, you just weren't handsome enough. You just didn't have the devastating good looks.
That's true.
Hey,
Ryan
I
is
object.
adorable.
I object. Nerdy guys are so cute.
But all of this stuff in the diner between him and Luke these past like several episodes are just gold.
They are gold.
God.
Is Luke gonna show up at Casey's for karaoke night?
Speaking of processing,
I hope.
Todd or not Todd, whatever. He processed that gig really quickly. He usually takes time to process stuff.
Maybe having kids got him more on the ball.
Yeah, he's growing.
And it's his passion.
This is the thing the fandom really hates. Because it's true. She can't go into it. That's the truth.
No, I get it.
The fandom's really not happy with the fact that the writers gave the Lane character a child, but not just a child, twins. Just completely
Yes,
arresting
the babies came-
any chance that the character would kind of go on to, to fulfill.
The babies came in season 7, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. I to say that, as I said earlier, Amy never watched season 7, but she did tell me that like she's so respectful of other writers and the job that they had to do, and et cetera, but that the one thing that really bothered her was that they gave Lane those babies, because she just didn't think that would have happened.
Settle down, dude. Settle down.
I think I have this guy's album.
Me too.
Lulu was so into it. So
He really needs to come out with more though. Like he's left us hanging for 20 years.
This is the most
I agree.
this is the most that you've really brought yourself to this character that I've seen so far in the entire series.
I have
totally need a
absolutely
Kirk album.
no recollection of this. Like, you would think that somewhere in my memory, I remember standing on that stage singing that song.
Blocked out the
Nope.
trauma, huh?
I don't know. I was drinking a lot at that time, I guess.
Did you see behind him is the Boozoo Barnes sign? That's the band, the Zydeco band that was kept on for Lorelai, auditioning for Lorelai.
What? Say that again.
There's a sign behind you, off to your right, and it says Boozoo Barnes. Boozoo Barnes was the band that was auditioning for Lorelai for the wedding. Even though the wedding was canceled, she forgot to cancel it. So that's the band, and their sign is on.
Well, that's a deep cut, my friend.
We've been watching this every night, Sean. We know this show.
True.
That makes me a little uncomfortable. That bums me out for some reason. Like, not even necessarily because of, having been in Hep Alien as an actor playing a role that was in it, but more just because I'm sad as a viewer that he's going off to work on another musical project, and then Gil and Brian are kind of left behind, and Lane, of course.
Drunk Lorelai.
Lorelai
baby.
drunk and with a microphone is never.
Second time that she's sung in the series, by the way, and I didn't know she's a total singer.
Oh goodness, I remember this well now.
One of my favorite parts in the whole series.
Same.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh, he showed
Yes, he did.
And that song.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that smile on his face.
Yes.
It's definitely where the tears start.
Yeah, these lyrics.
I'm watching Miss Patty.
Rory realizes mommy's still in love.
Rory's face.
It's all very on the nose.
Oh man, this hits you in the feelers.
Yeah, the smiles. I
That's
can't.
the best.
I
His
love
eyes
when
are
Luke
get.
shows that emotion.
Yeah, his eyes are getting more.
Rude of the bartender to be cutting onions over there.
Right.
And in my house too. Like, come on, get out.
Here too.
That is so weird. Onions
too.
everywhere.
I'm still
Onions
inside of
Give
this
it
everywhere.
up for
so
Scott
they're-
Patterson. He's always on point.
We are.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene.
The best.
Sheila Keelan.
Like you.
I can go for some chilaquiles right now.
All right.
I have penne vodka.
Look at Eris go.
Bizarro choice of tune. Why?
Probably because it's a country song and not like rock and roll.
And emotional, and everyone was kind of doing fun songs.
That's
And
right,
he puts
Luke.
it in his pocket.
Like, how did it end up in the dishwasher, behind the dishwasher?
I wonder.
Paul Anka.
Yeah, Palenka.
Spark.
I don't like this part.
I know what happens and I'm still nervous.
Same.
Yep.
Oh, he wants to ask Roy to marry him, maybe. asking the parent beforehand, maybe.
I mean, it's too soon, don't you?
Boom, boom.
How'd you do
Look
that,
at the
John?
smile though.
I mean,
Yes.
Lorelai's
Look,
face.
he's not
is-
Look at
smiling.
Lorelai's
But
reaction.
Lorelai is just floored.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I love getting them right.
Did you catch the title today? It was
Lorelai.
literally the last two words. Lorelai?
Oh,
Lorelai?
oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
that's good.
We always try and find the titles in the episodes because aren't they usually an actual line of dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my goodness,
That's
that was
good.
really
Zucker
awesome.
crushes that scene. He's really good there.
Yeah, Zukri is just amazing.
Yeah,
All
I'm a
right.
big fan.
I'm actually gonna help you with the folks that we're gonna bring onto the couch here.
Oh yeah, let me know.
I'm gonna actually have to go. I'm gonna have to do this for you because it's a little more complicated.
Fair.
So I'm gonna open up the couch, and then we are going to actually only bring up folks who have reserved for the post show, starting with those on our list. If you did not reserve for the post show, let me see here. Did anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, nope. Wait. Oh, actually, no. There is somebody who.
I just did the watch. Oh, should I just drop myself?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
just
one.
did the watch too.
Oh, really? Let me see.
I think so.
Yeah, you're right. You did only do
Okay.
the watch.
All right.
Mhm.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, no
Farewell.
problem.
Thank you. This was great.
Okay, so now we're gonna bring up folks for the post show. So I'm opening up the couch, and so only raise your hand if you hear your name. We're gonna start with Lainey Dahl, Nikki, and Hannah. Oh, sorry, Carol, I accidentally hit you. Carol, I need you to drop back down. Sorry. Nikki. Hold on, let me drop you back down. Okay, there we go. Lainey, Nikki, and Hannah. Nikki, are you raising your hand? If you are, I'm not seeing it. All right, we'll move on to Emma, Stacy, and Shelly.
Yay.
So, okay, Emma, Stacy, and Shelly, and Nikki cannot. So she's actually giving up her spot. So then next is Shelly. Sorry, Shelly's up. Lily, Anna D, and Carol. Oh, Carol, you were on there. I should have just kept you up here. All right. Carol. Oh, no, Carl. Not. You're off.
Hey, Carl.
This is
Hey, Carl.
okay. Lily
Hi.
and Carol, and then Anna D. Anna Dalzell. If you're raising your hand, I'm not seeing it. So maybe bring it down and then try again. I'm actually not seeing Anna. at all. Okay. So we're gonna add somebody else from the waiting list to replace Nikki. Megan, come on up. Great. And once again, we're gonna try for Anna again. Is Anna there?
I don't see her in the crowd, John.
Yeah. So then we'll bring up the next person on the waiting list is Kathy Ann.
So Kathy Ann was just saying she can't, there's a storm
Ah.
and she's afraid about flood.
Okay, great. Then the next person on the waiting list is Chris.
Hey, guys.
All right.
Hi, Sean.
And that should be everyone. That should be everyone. Let me see. Is that our? Yeah, that's 21. Great. Why don't we bring up? Let's make this. Well, no. We're gonna keep it at 21. I said that it was 21, so everyone who spent kernels assumed that it was 21. So we're keeping it there. All right. Awesome. So that was cool.
Good episode.
I called it. Now I can almost definitely tell you because for a while I was trying to figure out like how is it that the Rory Logan relationship is going to not survive by the end of the season because things were looking really good, and so I was just there has to be a reversal. So now I can tell you it's just she's going to say no.
I've been waiting for this episode since like season 1. Some people when I was first came here, I was talking about this episode in like a post show after you left, and I've been waiting. And I'm so
It's such a good episode. I love it.
Yeah.
How come?
One of my favorites.
Why this one?
The whole karaoke thing, I just always adored that so much.
It's your singing.
And of course, you know, it was all Kirk. You know, Lauren, she was all right, but Kirk,
Yeah, Kirk.
man, he
Oh,
has
stop.
held this,
Thank you, guys,
this
but-
episode, man.
We need
No,
a full Kirk album.
Lorelai.
I agree.
Just so
We need a
emotional for
Kirk
that.
album. Sean.
Encore,
Come on, you gotta give it
encore.
to us.
You were.
Oh my god.
First of all, I'll say two things about your
Don't
singing.
tempt me with a good time, guys. I will.
You should come to our karaoke event.
I will release that album. Oh,
You will
Release
release the
it.
Kraken.
Can we put some kernels on it?
Laws out.
Yeah,
Just
put some
all the
kernels on it.
Gilmore Girls laws.
So, dude.
Tiffany,
so,
when
dude,
is
I
karaoke?
remember around this time. You know, this was the end of the series, and I remember that you were already you like because there was that period of time where we were doing a ton of karaoke, like just as friends, like our whole like group of friends, we just karaoke was and not like we of course do, you know, still do that karaoke that's down in Little Tokyo, but we actually like had like a little karaoke machine, or you had a karaoke machine that we kind of took places and we would just like meet up to just do some karaoke late night. And
yeah, that's true.
And you had actually you started getting kind of good at it. Like you were.
That's generous.
Well, what I'm getting at is that I didn't feel like you were playing necessarily for laughs. Like it seemed like you were really, if my memory serves me correctly, from those times that we were doing karaoke, that you were giving it your all.
I don't know if I was giving it my all for "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?" though. I mean, that was not. I am not a good singer, everybody. I fully admit I am not a good singer, but I'm a little bit better than that.
Oh, really?
You did much
You're not a
better.
terrible singer.
No, you're not a terrible singer. We heard you when you did the Fiddler
No,
on
you're
the
not.
Roof.
Yes, exactly.
All right, yeah, right, yeah.
True.
There you go.
Fiddler was great.
We also like the dancing. So like combine
Yes.
the two.
Definitely.
And you got a hit.
Yeah, I agree.
Even Lorelai said she didn't want to have to follow you because you were good.
Yes, because you were so
I am
good.
a dynamite dancer. We all know that.
Oh, for sure.
Did you guys?
Yeah, you know,
I was gonna say, did you guys catch the lullaby that Lane was playing for the babies when she put them down? It was a Cure song, and
Really?
I really like that.
yeah, that makes sense. That's cool, actually. That's cool. That's on brand for Lane, right? Yeah, as I was saying earlier, it's interesting to watch an episode. I have not watched any of these episodes since they were on. You know, season 7. I'm not even sure I watched then. You know, I'm not sure I've ever watched that episode, to be honest. And it's interesting to watch it. It certainly takes me back, and you know, creatively, the writers had a very unusual task of trying to like to try to wrap this show up and, you know, put this show together. And I'm very curious what you guys think. Does it feel like there's a hiccup? Does season 7 feel different
A little bit.
to you guys than the rest of the show does?
Yeah.
Just when the scenes run long, I think, like where you guys are commenting about that scene between Lorelai and Rory, feeling like it should have ended sooner. Just scenes like that feel different, and the first like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
They had some camera choices, camera angles and stuff in the first couple episodes of this.
I think that's why it's so disappointed that it ended when it did, because I feel like it was towards the end of season 7 where it finally started to feel like the Gilmore Girls we knew, as opposed to the beginning.
Yeah.
One thing that's interesting too is that the references aren't like super deep cuts, like, you know, that you'd have to do a lot of Googling to figure out what the pop culture references would be. Like, a lot of them are like newer and they're not as old, you know, like just older pop culture, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of them are a little bit more recent, so like the average viewer could get it.
So
and that's not fun for a Gilmore fan, because we want to be super confused and not know what anyone's talking about and have to do a lot of Googling after.
Yeah, like the FloJo, like the FloJo reference.
Your favorite
like
reference, John.
Yeah, I love that FloJo reference, because I was just like, who in there was a Florence Griffith Joyner.
I know what FloJo is. You don't have to tell me what FloJo is. Come on now.
No, there was a FloJo. There was
Yes,
FloJo
all the
reference
onions.
early in the series, and I just remember thinking to myself, who did they think was going to get that reference? It was like in 2004, but then I realized, like, as the series was going, I was like, oh, that's the thing. They actually do not care. They're like, they are just having fun with what they know, and just, if you want to Google it, be their guest. But
right,
and that, I think, has turned out to be one of the assets of the show, because it's created this, like, almost a bit of a scavenger hunt. You know, people want to understand those things. It becomes this almost like second language. I actually during the series, like during this whole watch series, we do these other events, and I did this fast talk event, this like kind of TED Talk type thing that we do here at Remarcus every once in a while. And mine was on world building, and I was doing some comparisons between Lord of the Rings and like the world of you know, Gilmore Girls of Stars Hollow. And in a weird way, like, all of the pop culture references, at least the ones that like Amy and Dan had created, is almost like a good, like, it's almost similar to like the Elvish language in like Lord of the Rings, in that super fans of Lord of the Rings actually do learn that language. They get books on it, they learn how to speak it. And that's kind of the same. That's kind of the same with Gilmore Girls. Like, that language of pop culture, like, some folks don't really need to know it. They just are like, it's just not a part of what they enjoy about the experience, in the same way that plenty of people who love Lord of the Rings do not need to know what any of the Elvish language is. But a lot of people really do, like super fans really do want to know those things. And that is one of the aspects of Gilmore Girls that I think elevates it from just a simple story and makes it much more of a world.
Mm.
To answer your question though, Sean, as someone who just watched it when it was airing live and I didn't know anything about what was happening behind the scenes, I didn't really notice much of a difference. But I also didn't analyze it in the same way. So I don't know if it might make you feel a little better that the viewers overall live, I think it was pretty seen.
Yeah. And I don't even know that I mean, I don't even necessarily feel bad about it. You know, it's like I don't I don't have a dog in the race, as the saying goes. It's like, but it's interesting to me as somebody who was inside of it and who was there to see how it all sort of shook out. You know, like I said, I can't, particularly from season 7, and I've joined you guys now a few times. You know, I've joined for you know, an episode just about every season, and but this one feels different because I can't separate the human beings who were involved from the art itself. And you know, I mean, as viewers, you know, like, you're not supposed to want the curtain pulled back. Like as storytellers, we shouldn't want you guys to care about what's going on behind the scenes. But you know, I can't help but think about that stuff about, oh yeah, we were gonna, you know, do another half a season, and some people wanted to do one and some people didn't, and it was all, you know, some people were mad that Amy and Dan were gone from the show, and some people weren't, and I would never. It's not just that I would never go into naming names about that stuff. I honestly don't even remember. I don't like. It's not. I don't remember who felt what, but I do remember that was the texture of what was going on at the time, and it's interesting how that plays on, you know, the viewers, you know, as they're watching it and taking it in, you know.
Yeah. I remember watching it as it aired, and during season 7, my brain did that thing where it's like, oh, this show's going to be ending this season, because it just felt like that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it felt like that to us too. And I can say personally, like I said, I don't necessarily know what everyone else was thinking, but I can say from my own point of view, I was ready for the show to end. I regretted that later. Like it wasn't too much longer before I was like, man, I missed the show. I wish I was still doing it. But in that time, in that place, in 2007 or 8, you know, and it was going, I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this to be done and to do something else. Like, Amy and Dan aren't here anymore. It's feeling weird. I don't even know if, like, you know, and it bears noting that we were a very low key hit. Like, I think we were profitable for the WB, but we weren't. It's not like we were the show everyone was talking about. That actually didn't happen until later, you know, until we were on Netflix. But at the time, it was kind of like, I don't know. I felt like we were sort of buried on the it would have been the CW, I guess, at that time. And yeah, personally, I was ready to leave and do something else. And so that's what I watch when I look at the show. I'm like, oh, can I tell when I look at my own performance? Do I look like I'm not engaged? Do I look like I have a foot out the door? It's very interesting to me.
That song
wouldn't
sounded
say
like
so.
you did.
See,
mean,
I don't
hopefully
think
not.
so.
I mean, you know, no, yeah. I mean, I still hopefully took pride in my work, and I love the role that I played. I love Kirk so much. I wish I would do it again tomorrow if I could.
You had a great scene in an episode the other day that we watched where you were sitting at the first stool at the counter and you were telling Lorelai she couldn't have her stool back, and you guys were all discussing it, and you pull out a notebook, you can say, I could tell the exact date that Lorelai was in here last. And that was so Kirk. So I wouldn't say that I could tell you were on your way out. I thought it was really good.
No.
You did a good job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, and I don't think, like, hopefully no one would be able to see that, but it's like, we're going back, we're over a decade removed from this, so it's impossible for me to watch the show and only think about the show itself and separate it from like who I was then and who all those people were. I don't know. I like looking at it that way, honestly.
Would you say that? Well, I was gonna say, would you say Kirk was your longest running character, like that you've played in your career? I'm sorry, I think it is, but is that why you kind of have like such strong feelings about Kirk, that you just love the character so much, or is it just because it was fun to play such a quirky character year after year?
It's entirely both. I mean, it's like I certainly, you play a character for a long time and it really gets inside of you, and so it's like I certainly feel the closest to him because I spent the most amount of actual time in his skin. And it's also the thing that like established me as an actor and put, I had worked, but Gilmore Girls really built my career in a lot of ways. But it's not just that. It's also then that I'm incredibly lucky, and the role was exceptionally well written and really funny, and so it was very, very fun to play. And so like, yeah, it's all of those things. It'll be a part of me forever. Like when I'm done, and I hope I have like a lot of other great roles and a lot of other, I hope I do more television series, and I hope that 20 years from now people know me from half a dozen other things besides Kirk, but that will always be there, and it'll be on my, it'll be part of the canon of roles that I did in my career, and it's always going to be the first one, and it'll always be special to me for that reason.
Yeah. Well, I think the fun that you had playing the character definitely comes out in the series, and I think that's great. So
I still think that Kirk could have a really great spinoff.
John's writing.
Kirk and Brian.
I think that you could be. I think you could become like a Kelsey Grammer, like
Kirk
like
and Lulu. They buy the Twickham house.
John's writing fan fiction, Sean.
No, I think that it would need to be. I think that it would need to be as bold of a move off of Stars Hollow as Frasier was a move off of Cheers.
He's got to go to LA to the opposite coast, but he needs to keep Lulu with him and Pebble.
John, you have to
Kirk
write Bill and Kirk fan fiction now.
Bill. Well, I also have Robert fan fiction as well.
Oh, that's right.
I have an idea for a series for Nick's character. I think that character of Robert would be great for like a cable like series that is like, about, it's like it would be a dramedy, so it would be, it'd be a lot of humor in it and stuff, but his character would be like an Indiana Jones type, like, but it would be more in the style of Romancing the Stone than it would be in like straight Indiana Jones. But it would be an adventure treasure hunt series.
Oh my God, you're talking about Nick Holmes right now?
Yeah, with Nick, with
Let's
Nick's
talk about
character.
Nick Holmes for a minute.
Yeah,
you guys
with
know
Nick's character from Gilmore Girls. Nick's character is the lead of that show.
Robert. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, first of all, the
You guys-
Team Robert fans would love it.
So I don't know if like anybody knows this, but like Nick Holmes is one of my dearest friends, and has been for many years since Gilmore Girls, and we became friends because I heard him do that role at a table read, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I thought, I swear to God, I heard his voice speak one or two lines, and I'm like, this guy's a movie star, you know? Like, I'm like, who is this? Who is this person? And I went up and I like, I was like, let's hang out, man. And
when you first
when
you first meet Nick and you first hear him, especially in the context of a table read, there is a moment where you're asking yourself, is that really the way that guy speaks? Like generally, like, does he like really speak like he's in like a 1940s film, and like a Bogart film or something? But yeah, I mean, that's Nick. That's like, that's him to the core, and he's brilliant. He needs to be in more. He needs to be.
We agree.
He needs to be acting way more than he is. People need to cast that guy. That's what I'm saying. He'd be fantastic in my Romancing the Stone type series.
Yeah, he is one of they definitely broke the mold after they made Nick Holmes. He is like, there is nobody like Nick. And his wife Virginia.
Nick will be with us, by the way, on Thursday. He's gonna be with us for the entire finale.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, we're actually fun. Our finale. I know you can only make it for the post show.
I gotta come in late. Yeah, but
our whole finale is gonna be filled with guests. So just as an FYI, that's something that I've been working on, and it looks like it's gonna happen. People are going to be coming through.
You're still going to be special, Sean.
Familiar faces.
Always.
You know, something funny about like Nick is I didn't know he was actually also in the original series. So like only on this watch did I find out that he was in the original Gilmore Girls series. I thought he was like a new character they brought to the revival or something. And so I followed him, and I was like, oh, this guy's like a really great photographer and artist. Like, wow, he was in that. I don't remember what he was, but like, I like him. And then on this watch, I was like, oh, he's in this too. Cool.
Oh, really? You didn't know? So when you saw him, because he looks a lot younger in the series. Like he looks very boyish in the series. Yeah. Now he looks like a man. You know, that's why he really truly could be a great leading man in like a flagship series. You know, he really could. But back then, he was like just like a gangly boy. You know.
Nick Holmes skipped his 30s, so he went right. He went right from his. He went straight from his 20s to his 40s. Was like, I have no interest in my 30s, and he just like skipped.
That's totally. I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's totally true.
I can't wait to tell him that.
Those of us who spent any amount of time with him will 100% agree with you on that. Yep, 1000%.
So I was just thinking, Sean, there's one thing that you might want to take note that does require 100% vaccinated status to belong to is the Gilmore Girls Fan Festival.
Yeah, they require.
That is actually true.
Yep.
That is actually true. FanFest is they're being pretty being pretty strict. It's 100% mandatory.
Yeah. What are the dates on that? Do you guys know?
22nd, 24th. The 24th.
Yeah, so it's
October.
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of October.
I will definitely look into it. That's that schedule is a bit of a rough area for me, but I'll see maybe.
But it is very cool that
You know,
she's doing
yeah.
that. It is very cool that she's being so strict.
Oh yeah, of course.
Can
Of
I
course, I'm a high risk person. You
Yeah.
know.
Can I ask a question really quick about the episode that you guys
Yeah.
had referenced that I was curious about? Sorry, I don't mean to change the subject.
No, of course not.
You had both kind of mentioned your thoughts on that opening scene with Rory, and it seemed like you guys both were sort of like feeling like it was a little off, or maybe not really sure what to make of it. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on that.
Well, there's three scenes in the series, if I'm remembering correctly. There's 3 opening dream sequences, right? There's 2 opening dream sequences, and then there's that weird one with the Paul Anka, the real Paul Anka, and the dog Paul Anka.
Yeah, there's
Which
Rory's birthday.
I can't really remember if that one was a dream. Wait, there was another dream that was Rory's birthday?
So there's Rory dreaming about her birthday with Madeline Albright. There was Lorelai telling Rory about the Paul Anka dream, and then there was the one where Lorelai woke up with all the alarm clocks and Luke was in the kitchen.
And then there's the Luke one where Luke dreams that she says, "Don't get married." Don't
Right.
get married.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like dream sequences actually are a narrative convention that they use a lot in the series. Not a lot, but I mean enough that it's clearly like this is something we do every once in a while. I don't know what it was about that opening scene in today's that felt a little weird. Maybe it was the fact that like Rory didn't look like she was like she didn't look like she was in Chilton. Like she looked clearly like an adult woman in a little schoolgirl outfit. I don't know if it was the dialogue, or I don't really know why was it in her house and Paris and Doyle and their kids were there. Like I was like, I didn't really understand like what.
That's how dreams are, though. Don't
No,
you
but
ever
it's
have
showing
dreams like that?
Yeah, it is how
showing
dreams
that,
are, but
Paris
but dreams.
had-
I know, but dreams and narrative usually mean something.
Yeah.
So what did that mean? I don't really
The
know.
friends that she was living with had grown up and become successful, and she was stuck.
And she was
Yeah,
stuck.
that's how
They showed her the stuff that she needed to do when she was on working with picking up the garbage. That's what she was going to do. She wasn't getting anywhere where she wanted to be.
She actually had regressed. She
Yeah.
went back to Chilton and wasn't belonging in Chilton. She wasn't smart enough for Chilton.
Right.
And she wasn't even interesting enough for her mother to hang around. And she was, and all of her friends have gone on with their lives, and she's still in that, teenage rebellion phase.
That makes a lot of sense. But then it because something did feel weird about that scene. I don't know. I don't know if you felt the same thing, Sean, but there was something maybe it was just simply a pacing thing. Maybe it was just the dialogue itself didn't feel quite the same.
I mean, I had just jumped into it, and I the whole thing felt a little strange to me. As I sort of said earlier, I haven't watched, I never watched season 7. So I'm all of a sudden catapulted back 14 years into my past, and like, whoa, here we are. I'm curious, the woman who asked the question, what did you think of it? Did you have a take on it? Do you like it? What did you think?
Yeah, I actually really liked it. That teacher who was in there, I thought that was really interesting that they brought that particular teacher back, because that was actually the one that announced to the class when Rory had gotten all 3 of those acceptance letters to like Princeton, Harvard, Yale. And so I thought it was interesting that she was back at like that class with that teacher, as opposed to just some random Chilton class. And like everybody else had said, I actually really liked it because to me, it sort of showed like how Rory was sort of feeling in that moment, like she was stuck, and that she was back as almost like being this like adult woman, still feeling like she's in high school, or like back, like she's regressing, whereas everyone else was sort of moving ahead of her.
So awesome.
Maybe
So
Rory had
good.
Swordfish before she fell asleep, huh, John?
Oh yeah,
It's
maybe.
like it's like one of those I forgot my locker combination. Or I have the dreams where I forgot my band instrument. I left it and I get to the show.
Well, that
But I
actually
feel like
makes
it's
a lot.
sort of
I was gonna say that makes a lot of sense if it's one of those type of dreams, Shelley, like everything is going wrong kind of dream.
I kind of feel like you have those dreams when you're in some sort of like stressed situation. I don't know. Like when you're kind of panicked about something or nervous about something.
I think it also
Yeah.
I think it also is maybe that she left the Chilton classroom, walked through the door into the front door of her house. Her mother was leaving and acting like she didn't care that Rory was there. She just had to go. And then she turns into the kitchen and then there's Doyle with Paris. I thought that's what made it kind of an unusual kind of dream.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant. Was like, well, I don't understand why, like, what was in why there with Paris and Doyle? Like, why? I mean, other than dreams are weird, so I guess we can kind of accept that dreams are weird. Dreams are weird.
It's because that's who she's currently living with, and they're at the same spot in their lives as her. So it showed pictures of Paris with Hillary Clinton on the fridge and stuff. It was supposed to show that they had like gone on, and now they're telling her like, go pick up the garbage.
Well, maybe it's
Right.
also
It's the people in her life that are in her.
yeah, and it could also be about the relationship, you know, like Doyle and Paris are going to work things out, and Paris is going to go to some great school and they're going to have a family, and like it's like, you know, like that's kind of how it feels at this moment, you know, and Rory isn't sure about her relationship.
She's like suspended. Doesn't know where she's going.
Well, and them giving her the money and saying, don't think of it as charity, think of it as a gift, a charitable gift. You know, like they're just kind of handing her stuff out. Like they took her back in when she needed a place to stay, and then she would move back out and she come back again. And it's like she's dependent on them or something in a strange way. I don't know. It is kind of a weird dream, Or but it could be just budget. They didn't want to put on another scene or go to another. Yeah, another.
that actually seems to track the most, to be honest, because they had that set.
That dream Lorelai had after breaking up with Luke in season 5, she came down the stairs and went into the kitchen too, and then it was like that
The
when
black,
you
white,
watch
and red
the
movie theater.
That's right.
So that also was the kitchen. So that could have been one of those like bringing something back, so using the kitchen again.
Right, when she They kept trying to actually tell him she had- was all in.
They actually had multiple dreams of them being in the kitchen, because the dream where she's carrying twins was also in the kitchen. So there's a lot of, they like putting the dream sequence in the kitchen.
Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe it's that idea of like keeping that kitchen motif going. I like that. I mean, here's the thing, dude. When I started watching the season, the first 2 episodes of season 7 to me are just absolutely bizarre. Like scenes just running on forever with like just ambling. There's not really like, it's just like meandering around, not really going anywhere. The plot's just sort of like sitting there. And while I've been asking myself maybe whether that was purposeful and was supposed to sort of give us a sense that we're in this like Lorelai's sort of own weird place where she's at the beginning of the season, after having slept with Christopher and left Luke. The pacing just seems so weird in those 2 episodes, just absolutely like nothing before. And so immediately I was just that's why I just said, oh, this is just, the writers just don't get this. Like they just don't get how to write the series. And then that 3rd episode, it just got right back. And it was like exactly the Gilmore Girls that I had remembered. And for the most part, with the exception of a few scenes here and there, I've actually thought that this season was pretty close to what I remember it, with the exception of those 2 episodes. So there's a part of me that's wondering, I don't know, maybe is it possible that if you jump in anywhere into season 7 after having gotten to know the series so well, whether it would feel different to you. But I don't know, Mary, you said that it didn't when you first watched it. A lot of people actually who didn't know that that Amy and Dan had left the show also say that they didn't pick up on
Yeah,
anything. So it's possible that I
me.
also like. Yeah, it's
mean-
possible that I was in my head about. That I was in my head about.
I was gonna
you know?
say the first two episodes are also the most dramatic shift away from Luke to Chris. So we were already uptight by that because at the finale we're like, what's gonna happen? And so I don't think I was looking to see are they keeping the same pace or not. I was just dealing with the emotions as they were.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I've enjoyed spending time with you guys. I'm sorry that I have to go. And
Oh, you're gonna make us
I
cry.
will talk to you on Thursday. I'm going to be back for the discussion. I unfortunately can't be there. I'm actually shooting an episode of The Rookie with my
Yes!
my very dear friend.
Yes, oh my
Nathan
God, I'm
Fillion.
so excited. Sorry.
That was my
Um,
picture when you first came in, was me and Nathan.
That's so exciting.
I've seen it.
That's awesome.
I've seen that, I think. And,
I'm sure you have.
and that's awesome. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do an episode of that show, which is great.
That's so exciting.
And I'm gonna drop this memento, you guys.
Well, tell
You
them
ready?
about Remarcus and we want to do Castle with him.
Yes.
Yes.
We are ready.
please.
Yes.
And
Oh,
Fire-
Oh man,
Yes.
Nathan would be amazing.
Firefly.
Also for Firefly, we're about to drop Firefly like in a major way.
Oh yeah, Firefly is less of a time commitment too.
Yeah, it's only. Yeah.
I mean, rub it in.
One season.
Rub it in.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about it.
If you
That's great.
refresh the page,
He's the
you can
sweetest
see I
man.
switched
He
my
is-
my picture.
For
It's
you
back to
super
Nathan.
fans, he is as golden as you think he is.
Yes, he is.
Even more so. He is a wonderful human being. All right, I'm gonna drop this memento.
Just hit it.
Yeah, my
Boom.
husband told him to keep me, but
Drop
apparently
it
he
like
didn't.
it's hot. Drop it.
Thanks,
Hey,
Sean.
thanks for your time, Sean.
Thanks for
We
coming
appreciate you
and hanging out
coming.
with
Hanging out
us.
with us,
Wow.
Sean. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And I will. I'll talk to you all soon.
Do you have a favorite part of the episode, John? Yourself? Did you have something that you
Well-
like best about it, like that? The
I
hat
lo-
story. I
I-
heard you talking about the hat and the karaoke. You're holding babies and trying not to kill them. There was a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean that episode. That was another perfect example of an episode that was like I couldn't believe how little time, just how fast they did that, because they had, in order to do that, they had to shoot in literally they had to shoot that whole scene in 15 minutes because those babies, like labor law does not allow you to have babies at all, but I mean definitely those babies, it doesn't allow you to have them on set for that long. And so it was just kind of crazy. And that's also the reason why so many shows do the twins thing, right? Where you have twins, and the main reason is because you get basically a half hour. Except here they showed both of them. But with like, if you have twins, then you can actually like do a little bit of like, okay, we're using this one here and that one there. Sometimes they'll actually hire, like the Olsen twins played that one character in Full House, right? And that
the
gives labor law.
Sprouses were in Friends. They were Ben.
Right. That gives you the, oh shoot, it's dropped.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Related to the episode, actually, I was thinking of this while I was down on the beanbag, so I thought I would ask. How does one come about a decision to enlist their 1-week-old baby in acting?
That is a really, really, really good question.
They must be in the
So-
business. They must know someone.
Or they could just need
Well,
money. That's
yes. Yeah, I mean, it's partly that. There are like studio scouts. I mean, like seriously, there are actually like scouts that go to like hospitals and talk and like, I believe like ask people, or just, like they have to, because they do have to find babies that young occasionally.
Oh,
And
maybe it's that
and
season
so
9.
they're like I said, it's really, really, really expensive. Like, you know, to get a newborn baby on set for a scene like that would be, I mean, it would be like certainly like over $10,000 per kid, I would imagine. And that's for 15 minutes of work. So it's just like, I mean, some parents are just, yeah, they're like, that's great, $10,000, and then you have twins, and particularly twins. Twins are really, really, really valuable in the entertainment industry because of the whole labor law thing, because of the fact that if you have two children that look very similar or exactly the same at a young age, they can play the same role, and then you get double the amount of time. While one of them is, you know, has to be released because the labor law demands that they be released, you bring the other one in, you know, and you swap that out. So because of that, in particular, twins are like studios and movies and whatnot, like these scouts are on the lookout for people who have just had twins. If you have twins, I'm sure that there's like some way that, you know, like,
for a second and say that I got it.
John, can I ask you something about the episode related to
Yeah.
just you in general? Okay, so
Please.
you were talking about during the episode about that was the first time you'd ever held such young babies and all that kind of stuff. When you first got to hold Josie, did you remember that first time you held those babies?
Yes, for sure. It was totally like, I had a similar feeling, which was like, I was really scared that that like it just, they're just so fragile and so small, and so and of course, like that head thing, I couldn't stop thinking about that. That was like, that really, like, I remember that day, like that whole day, it was like one of those. Have you ever had those like sudden, like, maybe I'm gonna be revealing a little too much of my crazy right now, but have you ever like had those moments where you just have like a split thought of yourself like falling and just hitting your mouth on the curb, and all
Every
of your teeth
day,
get
all the time.
Yes.
All corners.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it. I'm thinking of it happening. So the same sort of thing that day, I couldn't stop thinking about that baby's head falling off. I just couldn't stop. It was just like, and it was one of those where it would happen and be like, oh.
But for the record, the
twin-
director
oh, sorry, go on,
lied,
Mary.
John. Babies' heads don't fall off. Yes, you need to support them, but the babies' heads don't fall off. Please get that idea
They
out.
know, but they are
The
so
first
wiggly
time.
and wobbly, though.
They are wiggle.
Scary. Like, even the first time I held my own babies, like right after I birthed them, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is like so lopsided and so like weird to
Yeah.
hold.
Well, and their heads are so heavy compared to like the rest of their body.
The first time
Yes.
somebody told me about the soft spot on babies' heads, I was terrified to touch a baby for years.
Yeah.
I'm
even
clumsy and
terrified
I
when I
will
was
hurt your baby
pregnant.
by accident.
When I was pregnant, I was terrified I was going to fall down the stairs. I made my husband put the baby gate up before I had kids.
I actually did fall down the stairs holding my son when he was a baby. And it freaked me out. Like I just held on to him super tight, and like he hit his forehead, hit like my collarbone. And he had like a bruise like on the top of his head. And I remember like just calling the pediatrician in tears because I was so upset.
Oh.
He was fine though.
Brendan
but they
went down
survived.
the
That's the point.
The entire stairs.
They're so much more resilient than we give them credit for. They survive. I had my kid fall out of my arms, hit something on the way down, hit the floor. Everyone around was like, they put their head up and they were like, hi.
Yeah,
I
when
mean,
he
I'm
was
still
learning
alive.
when he was learning to go down the stairs, he pushed me out of the way, and then he continued the entire way, head over foot, the entire way down, and looked up at me like, "What did you do to me? Why'd you let me go, Mom?"
So John, where would you rate this episode in comparison to some of the other ones so far? I really like this one with all the karaoke, and Luke thinks Lorelai was singing to him, but she was really singing to Roy at first, and then all of a sudden she's singing to Luke. And does that count for your bet?
Well, that's when that was happening, I did want to say, like, that I feel like that borderlines what we were talking about. But I'm gonna say that maybe we need something a little bit more definitive than that. But it is a romantic moment between the two characters, but it doesn't necessarily say they're back together. And that's the thing that I need something that says these two are going to be back together now.